Muslim women have some of the toughest situations you can imagine. I mean, there are cults out there where women have it worse, but usually these cults are much smaller in number. Islam, on the other hand, affects billions of people, and you have literally hundreds of millions of Muslim women all in different situations. Now, the worst of them are those that live in Muslim countries. Normally, if you're a Muslim woman and you live in the West, you're pretty good. You're pretty good because you have secular law on your side. However, a scathing report from the Times UK has found that many Muslim women in the UK are struggling under Islamic law and Sharia councils. They found upwards or up to around 80 or so, 85 Sharia councils in the UK. These Sharia councils take away the autonomy of women, and many women use these Sharia councils because they don't want to register their marriage, or they're convinced that they're better off not registering their marriage because of kuffar law or whatever. This article speaks about Aisha, a woman trapped in her marriage. She wants to get out, but her husband is insisting that in order to divorce her, because only the man can divorce in Islam, she has to pay him back for everything he spent on her, and he was looking for upwards of 5 figures regarding the rings and whatever he bought. So this woman, she's trapped in a marriage because I'm guessing she doesn't work. She definitely doesn't have that money. So we have situations like this. I'm going to go through this article and we're going to go through the findings and to show you just how bad it really is for women. If you're a long-time subscriber, you already know the issues that Islam has with women, but this is now getting some more light and more people are going to see it. So let's discover this together. Let's go through this together and see just how bad it really is. I'm your host, Abdullah Samir, your friendly ex-Muslim. Let's get into it. So it's refreshing that we're starting to see articles like this in the Times, like an actual reputable newspaper, not like Daily Mail or something, right? Let's take a look and see what the main article, what the issues are. So the article starts by talking about a woman, Aisha, who wants to get divorced. Now, normally when you get a divorce, you split everything 50-50, okay? That's the law. However, in this case, and not only that, the woman or the man can decide they want to get divorced, because 2 people need to agree to be married. If one person wants out, you get a divorce. If both people want out, you get a divorce. But in this case, with Islamic marriage, her husband refused to allow it unless she paid him a 5-figure sum covering all the money he spent on her during their marriage. It's kind of a weird thing to say, that all the money I spent on you, you got to pay me back. Normally, you have an agreement of some sort in a relationship, either explicit or implicit. One partner maybe works, the other partner maybe does other things, or both work. In this case, I'm assuming he was the one earning, she wasn't. So why would she have to pay him back? That's like weird. Obviously, she was giving him something too, companionship, love, whatever, right? Cooking, taking care of the kids. She offered to return his rings. So she's even giving him his rings back. But he demanded not the rings, but the money that it cost, and a sum of thousands of pounds, right? She couldn't afford. She's like, I feel like I have to pay a ransom to get out of my marriage. Welcome to Sharia British style. So this is like what Muslim women have to go through. Because an Islamic marriage allows polygamy and permits only men to divorce her at will, Aisha faces being trapped forever while her husband can take on new brides. The marriage was not officially registered, so Aisha has no recourse to English law. So this is the first mistake. Not registering your marriage in the UK is a problem. There's no rule you have to actually register your marriage, but if you don't, you're losing out on the rights that you would have got. And this is what happens. These Muslims, they get married without the kuffar law or whatever, and then they fall into these problems, right? Not only can a woman not get divorced unless her husband agrees to it, unless she goes to the imam or the qadi and she annuls the marriage, which is hard to do, right? There's also the possibility that the man can just divorce you just by saying talaq 3 times at once, which is banned in many countries and many people consider haram, but it still happens. Then on top of it, they are willingly going and using these Sharia compliant things. For example, this Sharia compliant will calculator where daughters get as basically half of what sons get, right? So if you have a daughter and a son, I have a daughter and I have some sons. My daughter would get half the what my son would get, and this is what the will maker is doing, right? And not only that, the thing asks these people in England, these men, how many wives they have. Again, it's illegal to have more than one wife, but in terms of like personal information, it's asking women, when did they have the last period in order to get a divorce? It's kind of an intrusive question, right? And on top of it, the Sharia Council was founded by a man, scholar, it's going to be in the article very soon, that said that men should not be questioned over why they hit their wives. So now we have a problem. Britain is being seen as the Western capital for Sharia councils, right? Basically, because there's like maybe 6% of the UK, according to what I read on Wikipedia, is Muslim, 15% in like certain cities like London. What's happening is that these Muslims are putting themselves through these Sharia councils that take away the rights of women and have unfair distribution of benefits and so on and so forth. The Council of Europe, which protects human rights, has expressed concern about Britain's Sharia Council, which they think there's as many as 85 of them, discriminating against women, and the social pressure upon Muslims to use them. This is one example. Aisha, who was appalled when the Dewsbury Sharia Council entertained her husband's request for compensation before setting her free. They agreed with him that she will not get a divorce unless she pays him back, right? And she didn't have the money. So then she has to pay him in installments. How pathetic is that? Taking a woman's money just to divorce her. Until I'm officially divorced Islamically, I still believe that I'm married to my husband. It's hard to comprehend that I'm having to pay this amount just for something that's spiritual. What kind of spirituality is this? What kind of pathetic religion is this? Truly, right? This is one woman who spoke to the Times about a British Sharia Council. She's stuck. She's trapped. This is what Islam gives women. And you know, they don't tell you these things when you convert to Islam. So you have all of these gullible Western women that convert to Islam. They don't realize like what they're losing out on. So she's stuck in the marriage, right? And then she's getting support from a women's support group. Another woman who struggled to divorce is Shakila Malik, from 45, from Manchester, right? She told the charity she suffered from domestic violence for many years and was forced at 16 to marry her cousin in Pakistan, right? The Dewsbury Sharia Council kept her waiting nearly 3 years for a divorce when her husband's brother became involved. He wrote them a letter saying, you know, basically the family got involved and they took his side. In our culture and religion, if you don't get divorced Islamically, they say you're still married. I wanted an Islamic divorce. I went to find someone in the community connected to the mosque, right? You know, it's kind of a mess because in Islamic law, you need a qadi, like a judge. But these people are no judges. They're just appointing themselves to be judges, right? It's like a mess. Islam trying to exist in these non-Muslim countries is a mess. Some people are saying that she should enter into muta because it enables couples to have sex and then part, right? So she said that no husband ever touched her, but some guy proposes to her, right? The woman in her 40s explained how some men, Muslim men, such as the ex-husband, use religiosity to exert patriarchal control over women. This is another problem in Islamic marriage. He demanded sex, citing a hadith about Muhammad requiring wives to agree to intercourse even on a camel's back or a saddle. The saying is used by some scholars to argue there's no concept of marital rape in Islam. Then we have the issue of triple divorce, triple talaq, right? Which again, many Muslims say it's haram, but many Muslim women in Britain cannot get divorces, yet the men can literally just say this word 3 times and it's done. So the council states online men can divorce their wives unilaterally by pronouncing talaq 3 times, either consecutively on 3 separate occasions, depending on the Islamic school of thought by which the married couple abides. When the Times tried to talk to them and ask them why it allowed Muslim men to do triple talaq when it's banned in 23 countries, the panel member, this woman, I'm surprised they even have women on there, said, "Thank you for highlighting the point on the website. It needs to be explained further that 3 talaq in one sitting is sinful, etc." It's sinful, but they're saying it's allowed, right? It's really sad because it's Kola Hassan, one of the council scholars, says triple talaq is really common among the Asian community in Britain. So like, Your whole entire marriage, kids and everything gone because in a moment of anger, husband says talak, 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 or divorce, 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 right? Or however he says it, whatever, as long as he meant it, it's over. And you can never get her back unless she goes and has sex with another man and gets married to him or whatever, right? Which is this whole other issue that they have also a whole business around this, right? Where you can actually hire some guy to get married to you, have sex with you, and then divorce you, and then you can go back to your previous husband. This is Muhammad's Islamic law they came up with, right? Then here we have Haytham al-Haddad, right? Who founded the Islamic Council. And he's the one that said that women shouldn't be asked, right? About why they hit their wives. He's also seen in a photo here meeting the Taliban in Afghanistan in 2023. Such wonderful people. So one of the most prominent and fastest expanding of Britain's Sharia Council is the one founded by Haytham al-Haddad, whose views are condemned as misogynistic. This guy said a man should not be questioned about why he hit his wife. Leave them alone, they can set it out. Even the wife's father should not ask his daughter why you've been beaten by your husband. He said, why? Because Islam is looking for the bigger picture in order to keep the relationship between husband and wife together. This is disgusting, right? Then he denied the whole thing and said, I never said that, right? Basically, you can see this is the type of guy that you have running a Sharia council. He's meeting the Taliban. What do you think he's going to do? What do you think his views are, right? Then, this is no surprise to many people, but there are many Muslim men who have 2, 3, and 4 wives in the UK illegally. And this app that does the Islamic wills, asks you, how many wives do you have? And you live in the UK, right? When they did a test on the app saying you have 2 wives, 2 sons, 2 daughters, and both parents, each daughter gets 9%, the son 18%, each parent 17%, and each wife only 6%. The wives got the least. It's crazy. The sons got the most. This is absolutely nuts. Boy, oh boy, being a woman in Islam is just amazing. You get nothing. You literally get nothing, right? Continuing on, applying for divorce, it asks you when you had a period. This is in the modern world, imagine asking this question, when did you have sex with your spouse? When did you have your period? This is how Islamic law works, right? It has this waiting period. This is why we're having concerns now, why the Times is reporting on this, right? The concerns are happening because people are starting to see that there's problems here, right? This is unfortunate. Having Sharia law is awful in general in Muslim countries, and to allow to have these Muslims who are willingly subjecting themselves to this is just awful because they're losing out. I mean, the men are gaining, the women are losing out. And these women are stuck in relationships. The men have multiple wives. The sons are getting, unequal, double the distribution of wealth as the daughters. How is this good for society? It's not good for society. Islam is not good for society. These rules are awful. They're spreading in Britain. We need to take a stand. All of us who believe in freedom, who believe in democracy, who believe in tolerance and dignity. We cannot let this Sharia law continue to spread. We have to call it out for the bullshit law that it is. We have to let people know, especially Muslim women, that, hey, you want to be Muslim? This is what you're going to suffer with. You're going to be stuck in a marriage. You're going to be stuck in this relationship. You're not going to get out. You're going to have to make a payment plan, right? A payment plan to get out of your marriage. $200 a month for it was 5-figure sum, right? So that's talking tens of thousands of dollars she has to pay to get out of her marriage. I mean, the sad thing is she doesn't have to pay anything. She can just go to get another marriage if she wanted to. But she thinks that she's paying this Islamic tax basically to be free of this man. It's really sad. It's sad what Muslims are going through. It's sad what Muslim women specifically go through. I hope that we can get some awareness as to just how bad it's getting. It's getting really awful. Now, if you're new here, do subscribe. I'm going to continue making videos on this topic and other such topics related to Islam. All right, that's it. Stay away from Sharia councils and Sharia law and Islam. If you like this video, please consider joining the Patreon and support me to do more such work. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you're new. This is your friendly ex-Muslim Abdullah Samir signing out.